Hello and welcome to a very special video because today I will be unboxing and giving you my first impressions on the very first bottle of Chanel that entered my collection. This is a bottle of Chanel number 19 Extrait, 14 ml. You can see it has a barcode, it has the percentage, it is 14 ml, but I did some research essentially on how to date this because it's not a modern bottle. They changed to 15 ml at some point, and then after that it got discontinued actually, because right now you can only buy the Chanel X-rays in large bottles. This here is a bottle from 1991 according to my research, because it does have the barcode on the box, but on the other hand it does not have the green dot. So there's no of this recycling symbol anywhere, there's no ingredients list, so it should be between 1990 and 1992. So my guess is it's a 1991 bottle, and you can see it's still sealed. So there's this little bit of sealing paper, there's the string. It feels almost sacrilegious to break the seal on a bottle that's almost 35 years old, but I feel like if I keep it sealed, then what's the point of having it, right? It's just, at that point, it's just an ornament, which is nice. I mean, I love collecting things, but really we need to smell it. We need to find out what this smell is about. And for that, I'm gonna have to crack the seal, and I'm gonna see if I can get this done on camera, because it's not trivial. And I broke the wax seal because it's kind of crusty. Let's see. This is delicate. I'm kind of almost shaky because, like I said, this is such a precious little bottle. By the way, I love these small bottles. I don't know if any of you love small bottles, but they have something precious about them, right? Let's see if I can get this paper off. If not, I will have to cut the video. No, here we go. Found it. So this is what keeps it airtight. There's the seal of this bottle should have been in very good condition, hopefully. Let's see if I can move the stopper, and yes, I can. Okay, here we go. We've managed to open it. Okay, so the bottle's open. I'm being very careful because I've heard horror stories of people spilling their Chanel X-rays, which is a tragedy. But yeah, let's get to this fragrance. So Chanel number 19, it came out in 1970 or 1971, depending on who you ask, just before Coco herself died. And while I'm preparing to smell this, I will be putting this on blotter, but then I will be smearing the blotter on skin as well, just to get an idea of both. Essentially, you saw me maybe in my sorting out samples series try this sample of number 9 Eau de Parfum, which I thought was absolutely stunning. So I can only imagine that the X-ray is going to be even better. But yeah, let me be very careful. Don't want to mess this up. So yeah, this is going to be me putting the blotter in here. Dip, dip, dip. Put some on my skin here. And then carefully close it with the glass stopper. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I can have a smell now while I'm talking about this, and it's gorgeous. It's already in the air. Oh my god. Yeah. So much galbanum. So this is what Chanel number 19 is about. Chanel number 19 is a green floral chypre. Essentially a little bit in the style of Vol de Nuit by Guerlain, which came out in the 30s, so 40 years earlier. But the Chanel one, in typical Chanel fashion, is much more elegant, much more... not even much more elegant, because the Guerlain is very elegant, but it's in a way, it's kind of more modern. It's a little bit colder. Yeah, it's not quite as warm and sensual. It's very professional. Yeah, okay, but what am I smelling? So the first smell that hits you is galbanum. And galbanum is this green resin. I actually do have some galbanum here. Let me get that real quick. All right, so here I'm back. I got my little vial of galbanum. Galbanum is a resin, and it's a very sticky substance that is It smells very, very green. I don't know if you can even see inside here, but it's like a dark amberish color. It's also slightly green in color. And it just smells like crunched leaves, like green bell pepper. It's kind of bitter, it's kind of powdery. It's kind of almost sharp, maybe a little bit sour. But here, it's very big in number 19, but it's composed so beautifully that it has this certain, there's a softness to it. It's not overly harsh. And the other thing that I'm getting is iris, and it's powdery iris. Iris, by the way, is not a floral. Iris actually is a root. It's a rhizome. That is then that goes then through a process of creating iris butter. I also have a little bit of iris butter here. This is what iris butter looks like. It's kind of like a waxy substance. That's why they call it butter, even though it's not really, it's not really butter like cow's butter. But this also smells green and rooty and earthy. And that works together so well with the galbanum in here. It smells so rich. Incredibly, incredibly rich. So sophisticated. There's a freshness to it. There's some soapiness to it. It's very earthy. You can tell there's some florals in here, like some white florals. Maybe some of the classic number 19 florals like hyacinth, narcissus. Those are like in between white and yellow and green. And there's a woody base. There's this mossy thing, the oak moss. And it's just perfection, really. I'm very, very glad that I picked this up. And it was kind of daunting to open it. Part of me wanted to keep it sealed because it feels so precious, right? If you look at the bottle, I'm still kind of trying to be careful. But yeah, this is all glass. The stopper is glass. It's never been opened for 34, 35 years. And now I've cracked the seal and essentially I opened Pandora's box here. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to wear this now that I've opened it because I don't want to waste it. And it's perfect condition. It's still, the top notes are super fresh. There's nothing off about it. This kept really well. Chanel tend to not go off too badly, especially when they're still sealed. Let's have a look at the official notes, and then I will read you the description as well on the Chanel side. So Chanel Parfum has top notes of galbanum, hyacinth, bergamot, neroli. It's all coming together to give this a freshness, floralness, and this kind of soapy quality. The heart notes are iris, jasmine, lily of the valley, narcissus, rose, and ylang ylang, and the base notes are oak moss, leather, musk, sandalwood, and cedarwood. And since this is a 1991, that means this is real oak moss. This is just full-on oak moss. And it also means that if there's sandalwood in it, it's probably Mysore sandalwood, especially in the extrait. And the extraits also use some of the florals that Chanel produces in Grasse. So they have their own floral gardens in Grasse. I don't know in the year of 1991 how far they've gotten, because I know for a fact that Christopher Sheldrake worked with, I think it was Jacques Polch on number 19 Poudre. And for that, essentially Sheldrake supervised the production of iris in Grasse for Chanel. So nowadays, some of the less exclusives and some of the extras that you can still get will be using actual Chanel grown iris in Grasse. But this also has a really, really nice iris note. It's very powdery. There's one note that isn't listed, but it is quite noticeable, is vetiver, which also gives this greeny, rooty, woody thing. But it's a very clean vetiver here, because all of the florals, they end up making this a very clean scent. The musks as well. There's a good portion of musks in here, surprisingly. I would say also this is very much unisex. It's just green, clean, professional, but not in a boring way. There's something very special about it. There's something that makes this kind of alluring almost. And I want to be putting more on my skin later on. But yeah, this is going to be something that I will be trying out, that I will be smelling way more. And I really want to get into it, and maybe I will be doing a full-on video just on this and how it wears and my experience with number 19. So number 19, the description is: a daring, distinctive fragrance, the vibrant green notes of galbanum blend with the powdery notes of iris to strike a perfect balance. The last fragrance launched and worn by Gabrielle Chanel, an uncompromising composition in the image of Mademoiselle. Composition: a daring floral woody green fragrance that plays with contrasts, a perfect balance between the vibrant green notes of galbanum and the soft powdery notes of iris pallida, a rich, smooth variation with a greater floral dimension heightened by Ylang Ylang, Lily of the Valley, and Rose. Number 19 is the other great number by Chanel, after number 5, of course. The last fragrance Gabrielle Chanel ever launched or wore, a fragrance that pays tribute to the day she was born, August 19, 1883. When the idea for this new women's fragrance came to mind, she met with resistance from those around her who did not think a new fragrance could exist alongside number 5, sorry. But Coco refused to give up and asked Henri Robert for a composition with personality just as strong as that of number 5, and that it is. And her request was granted in a completely different olfactory composition. It is surprisingly different, yeah. A contrasting accord of green and powdery notes. Mademoiselle passed away just a few weeks after the launch of the new fragrance on January 10th, 1971. To be irreplaceable, you must be different. Number 19 is the final masterpiece from its extraordinary daring and radiant female personality. Okay, so very interesting story. There's actually a rumor that she wore number 19 for a few years before her death, but it only got released in 1970, 1971. It was essentially her personal scent. That's how the rumor goes. And Henri Robert, by the way, he's also related to Guy Robert. Guy Robert, he did tons of things, including even Goldman for Amouage, which has very much Chanel touches. Maybe you can see some sort of relation going on there. Then also Henri Robert did Cristal, which is another green chypre for Chanel. It's very, very, very interesting, the story behind number 19. And I think it links back to Vol de Nuit. I want to say it does sort of lean back to Vol de Nuit. It just takes that idea of making a green floral chypre and, builds upon that in a very Chanel way. And I find it absolutely stunning. I like it more than number 5 for me to wear. Yeah, that's at least where I stand right now. But of course, number 5 is timeless, and it's just not something that I feel like compelled to wear at this moment. Yeah, I like Iris Poudre, which is based on number 5, but it turns up the iris, turns up the woodiness. And number 19 is not built on number 5, but I see a connection between number 19 and Iris Poudre as well, because of the iris, because of the woodiness in the base. And it's just, oh my God, it's so good. I keep smelling my hand. It's kind of dry as well. There's a very much, so the florals in the mid, they have this little bit of a dewy quality. It's very a spring-like scent. It's very lush and green. It's like freshly grown flowers and freshly grown leaves and all of that. But then in the base, you can tell there's something dry in there. There's this oak moss that's dry. There's this vetiver that's dry. It's really interesting. And the oak moss, in fact, does have a slight smokiness as well, which really makes the scent more unisex than many people would expect, because it's just not, what we associate with feminine fragrances these days. And that's a whole can of worms, right? This association, this whole gendering and fragrance thing. I want to make a video on that. Let me know if you're curious about that. But yeah, this is going to be joining my all-time favorite green floral fragrances, my all-time favorite chypres, and my all-time favorite iris fragrances. It's going to be sharing its place with this one, which is also an iris fragrance that uses galbanum. So there's another link. We like these links. So iris pallida, such a gorgeous substance. If you can get your nose on this is a CO2 extract. This is the butter. If you can ever get your nose on some proper iris extract, please do take the chance. Do it. It's such a weird experience, and you notice that this is not a floral. This is something else. This is something with depth. Such a beautiful substance. And you can tell the quality in number 19 is off the charts, even if they don't put a lot. This is not like this violet iris synthetic ionone cur or whatever type of accord. This is surprisingly not even that carroty. This is more green. It has like an unripe apple quality to it as well. Sort of a slight tart fruitiness even. It's not that it's a fruity scent, it's just aspects of that, like an unripe apple. And it's drying down, it's so intense. But the sillage of this is not going to be very strong. Even the projection, this is not a powerhouse. I think Chanel intends that you layer this with the eau de parfum or eau de toilette. So you put the parfum on your skin, and then you add some eau de parfum on your clothes, right? So you put this on first, on your skin, you dab it on everywhere, and then you add some eau de parfum on top on your clothes and everywhere, and then you get the best of both worlds. This is so other people can smell you. This is so you can smell the beauty of the materials and the composition yourself. The original number 19 Parfum. Okay. I think that wraps up my first impressions and unboxing and unsealing of this vintage number 19 Extrait de Parfum. I hope you enjoyed going through this journey with me. I hope you enjoyed feeling the little bit of anxiousness that I went through opening the scent, but also the excitement that followed. And yeah, I hope you get your nose on this, on the current version, even the Eau de Toilette or Eau de Parfum. I love them all, at least the ones that I've smelled so far. I still need to smell Poudre. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Be safe, be kind to each other, and we will see each other in the next video. Bye bye.